All right, class. We're starting our chapter 6 in pre-algebra. And the first lesson in chapter 6 is about ratios and rates. Okay? First of all, let's talk about what a ratio is, because it's a little bit different than just a normal fraction. It is a normal fraction, but I mean it's different than other fractions, because a ratio compares things of two different amounts, or two different labels. Whereas in most fractions that you've been working with up to this point, most fractions compare an amount out of the total. Like there's one teacher out of, what are there, 18 of you?
18 of us.
Right?
Now, 20.
So 20,
20.
no, there's 5 people in the other class. How many people are in here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. 16. So there's 1 out of 16 are teachers in this classroom. 1 out of the total people. I am a person, okay? Even though I'm older than you.
Really?
So that's what a fraction, you can compare 1 or the amount out of the total. But then as a ratio, we could say that there's 1 teacher out of for every 16 or 15 students. 1 teacher for every 15 students. Those have 2 different labels. So the ratio of teachers to students in here right now is 1 to 15. And that's expressed as a what? A ratio of teachers to students. Okay? 1 to 15. Notice if you add 1 and 15, that gives you the what? 1 plus 15 gives you the total amount. The total amount. Remember I said the fraction of teachers to students was 1 to 16. 1 out of 16. Right? 16 is the total amount. When you have a ratio, you add the amounts to get the total. Okay? Here's some other ratios that you're familiar with. Notice they have different labels. Miles and gallons. The amount of miles traveled out of the number of gallons used. Okay? Or price per ounce. If you go shopping, especially for groceries and stuff like that, they oftentimes on the little tag will give you the price per unit. The price per fluid ounce, for example. Okay? Or feet per minute. Maybe that's a better measurement of when you are running, how fast you're going. A number of feet per minute. Okay? So those are all examples of ratios. Now, a rate has to do with how much is used compared to how much of the other thing that you need. Okay? If we're talking about miles per gallon, or miles and gallons, if you go 105 miles on 7 gallons of gas, that is a rate. 105 miles over 7 gallons. Then you can find the unit rate. The unit rate always compares how much per 1 of the whatever's in the denominator. So that's where you get to MPG. That word per means for every what? For every, what's the number is this? For every 1. Yeah, exactly. That's what this is. For every 1 of the other thing. Miles per gallon means how many miles you go per 1 gallon. Miles per gallon. You understand? So to find that, when you're given 2 amounts, you divide. You divide the number, the top number, divided by the bottom number, and then label it. Miles per gallon. That slash means per. Okay? Does that make sense? Let's go through some examples. What if we have a rate given of 720 meters per day how many meters per minute. We're going to change the label, and we're going to need to use a conversion factor. We're converting from days to minutes, right? So, here's how you do this. First, write this as a fraction. 720 meters per day, per 1 day. Okay? So write this as a fraction. Then multiply by a conversion factor. There's a number, a fraction that you can multiply by, which stands for an equal amount that changes days to, first of all, hours, because we know days in an hour, or hours in a day, sorry. And then for hours, we can convert that to minutes, right? So these are conversion factors for changing our label. Now, what number would give us an equal amount of time? John? 1 day equals 24 hours, right. So we write it like that. Now, why did we put day on the top line and hours on the bottom line?
Because there are 24 hours in 1 day.
Okay, there's 24 hours in 1 day, but we could also have written 24 hours in 1 day like that. That's an equal conversion factor. Those are equal amounts of time, but it has to do with this day being on the bottom line here. Kira?
Well, the slash thing means divided by, and
Yep.
you can do 24 divided by 1 to find hours of minutes.
Okay. Yeah, it has to do with dividing by. We want to divide and get rid of days. And so if we have days listed on the top line and on the bottom line, we can draw a line through it. We want to get rid of days. Whatever you want to get rid of goes on the top. Whatever you want to change goes on the top. And then you put the conversion factor amount on the bottom. Okay? So if we want to change it from hours, we put hours on the top, so we can cross out hours and then leave minutes. We can go from hours. 1 hour is 60 minutes. Whatever you want to get rid of goes on the opposite side of the division bar. Kind of like factoring out when you are adding and subtracting, or sorry, multiplying and dividing fractions. When we wanted to get rid of or reduce fractions, if you have 5 over 5, what can you do with those 5s? Cancel them out. These are like reciprocals. Things that we've canceled out before. Okay? So whatever you want to change goes on the top. Change it to something that will get you closer to your answer. Then, in order to find the answer, these are all multiplying by fractions. So you simply multiply across. We'll get rid of this conversion factor for now. And let's multiply across. 720 times 1 times 1. So that's 720. Whoops. Gotta change it back to a pen. 720 over 24 times 60. Use your calculator for that. What's that, James? 1,440. What is that then? We would want to reduce this. It's 1/2, you're right. So for meters per minute, it is 0.5. 1/2. 1/2 of a meter per minute gives you 720 meters in 1 day. Those are the same rates. Okay? Yes?
Could you just skip the middle part and go right to hours?
If you can get, if you can go from days to minutes, like if you could write days up here, 1 day is equal to how many minutes? That would be that, yep, 1,440. So if you can go right to this, then that's fine. Because then you're getting rid of days and leaving minutes on the bottom line. Yep. Let's do another one. Number 18. That was number 17 in your book, which is part of your assignment. Let's try a different color. Number 18. Let's say we have 1.5 gallons per minute. We're going to go to quarts per hour. So 1.5 gallons, you write it over minutes. Okay? And if it's gallons per minute, that means 1.5 gallons for every 1 minute, so we can write a 1 there. Then we're going to multiply. And what do we want to get rid of? What do we want to change it to? Let's go over here and write, what are we going to change it to?
Quarts per hour.
Right, quarts on the top and hours on the bottom, right? Quarts per hour. So we have to change minutes to hours and gallons to quarts, right? Well, if we're going to get rid of minutes, we have to put minutes up here, and we can put hours on the bottom, because there's a conversion factor for minutes and hours, right? Is it 1 minute equals 60 hours? No, it's 60 minutes equals 1 hour, right? So put 60 up here and 1 there. Now we have hours on the bottom line. That's good. That's what we want. So cross off minutes. Now, we still have gallons up here. We want to go from gallons. Why did I put it on the bottom line? Because I want to cross it. See, gallons is on the top line up here. I want to get rid of it, so I have to put the gallons on the bottom. And I want to go from gallons to quarts. How many quarts in a gallon?
4.
Right. 4 quarts, 1 gallon. Now, do I have the labels I want? As soon as I have the labels I want, then I can multiply. 1.5 times 60 times 4 is what?
360.
360. Yep. 360 quarts per hour, right? Because these are all just ones. So 360 quarts per hour. Okay? So, use this procedure to change it to the labels that you want. To change it to a different rate. Okay?